The personal brand is going to be one of the most valued assets in the next decade. We are seeing big businessmen like Elon Musk or Alex Hormozi taking advantage of this trend. In this video, I am going to teach you in 6 steps how to create a successful personal brand. And at the end, I will explain how to monetize it. So let's get started. First of all, we have to understand why a personal brand is so valuable. To understand it, we have to go back a few years. Brands are a new concept created by large corporations with the aim of simulating the closeness you have with another human. It is a way of scaling attributes that we grant to humans associated with a corporate entity. But let's face it, your mind is not prepared to process a brand. When you think about a brand, you tend to think about whether you like it or not. It awakens in you emotions similar to those that a human being would provoke in you. But you know that it has more potential to provoke sensations and emotions in you. Yes, another human being. That is, a personal brand. And why has it not been exploited until now? For 2 reasons. 1. It is more difficult for a company to control a human than a brand. 2. It has been very costly for each human to self-fund to create a personal brand. What has changed? Social networks and content. Think that social networks have evolved massively, and right now anyone can publish content. The cameras on your new iPhone far surpass the best amateur cameras from just a few years ago. In addition, an entire industry of professionals has developed who help you create content around personal brands. And a lot of cameras and equipment have appeared that are relatively affordable. Now we are going to see the step-by-step to create a personal brand in 2024. Point number 1. In a market of saturation of personal brands, you have to anchor what you are an expert in. People need to think of you and quickly associate you with something. Are you the book person? The sales funnel person? The trading person? The person of whatever? But be associated with something niche. If not, it will be very difficult to penetrate all the noise that exists right now in the content ecosystem. You can always open up to more topics in the future, but at the beginning, unless you are someone already recognized or with enormous authority, it is better to make your way by associating yourself with a specific sector and niche. You will gain more authority and faster by doing this. By the way, authority is simply one of the 3 bases that exists in a personal brand. 2. Build a bag of stories. People don't learn with pure concepts and that's it. We learn much better with stories. It is easier to remember a story than a concept. Once you have your niche, create a story bag. Stories that you can always repeat to create examples of what you want to convey. They also don't have to be all yours. If you are just starting out, they can be stories you have read from people you know, from clients or friends. Don't be afraid to express your opinions while talking about these stories. This way you will gain trust and sympathy. The other 2 bases of a good personal brand to build a story. Don't mess around. It's very simple. There has to be a beginning, a tension to create a middle in which events develop, and an end where the tension is resolved. And above all, don't just tell the story. Explain how you felt, what it made you feel at that moment. Because we all have emotions. Maybe people haven't had your same story, but they have felt your emotion. Don't be afraid to count them more than once. Because maybe you think you've already repeated yourself. But that story is something that people need to see from different angles, told to different people or in different situations to end up remembering it. We normally associate people with their different stories. And above all, don't lie with these stories. This is a marathon, the creation of a personal brand. If you create a web of lies, sooner or later you will get caught and your reputation will crumble. 3. Choose a medium. There are many social networks today and there are many media. Choose one. Choose a social network. Choose a site where you can create that content, be it podcast, email, audio, YouTube video, whatever you want. But pick one and dominate. Making your way today is extremely important. Don't pay attention to opening many channels. Sell a product in an acquisition channel to a customer. That's the same for personal branding. Your content is the product and you have to start on a single channel. Of course, if you choose short content such as reels or shorts, always have a long content strategy. For example, if you make a lot of reels on Instagram, also communicate your stories within Instagram stories to gain depth. There are 2 things that you always have to keep in mind on social networks. Breadth. That is, how many people you reach. Depth. How much these people know about you. How much authority, how much trust, and how much sympathy those people have with you. Point number 4, repetitions and collaborations. To grow your product, which in this case is your personal brand, it has to be good enough and it has to reach the right people. And to solve the issue of whether your product and your personal brand is good enough, there is no other option than to do repetitions. That is, a lot of content and end up progressing by reviewing your content. Look at your content again. Compare it with other people in your sector or other sectors who are doing very well and be critical. Keep improving, create better stories, explain those stories better. Review how you vocalize, how you create content, how you write, and so on. And collaborations have to be with people around you. Create good relationships with these people and collaborate to grow, to reach new audiences. Let's now look at point number 5, networking. To do those collaborations in point number 4, you need to leave home. When you start, people are not going to want to collaborate with you because you are nobody yet. Therefore, my recommendation here is that you go out to events. To events in your sector, company events, sports events, whatever, but go out to meet people. I know it's something that seems very obvious, but going out to those places exposes you to new experiences, new people. You can create better stories because when you expose yourself to that, you will learn other people's stories. It will help you create content and surely create strategic alliances with other people and companies. And point number 6, and the most important, patience. This is a long-term game, and until your content is good enough, I feel bad, but people aren't going to see it. It is an extremely meritocratic game. There are more and more people who want to get involved. If you see that it has been going on for a long time and there are still no results, change the format, create new formats, new ways of explaining it, new ways of understanding social networks. But be patient. These have been the 6 points to create the personal brand. Now let's talk about monetization. A personal brand is an umbrella from which business lines or monetization lines can hang. Number 1 could be advertising and affiliation. This is, basically, a way in which you collaborate with other brands. They pay you to promote their products or you directly sign up for an affiliate program in which you can recommend products, whether for example in e-commerce or software, in exchange for a percentage of what those first customers pay. They have the lowest level of monetization, but are relatively easy to implement. Of course, it is very important that you do not promote things that are not safe or you do not like them. Like because your reputation is at stake. 2. Services or info products. This, for personal brands with authority in a specific niche, is basically selling your own services, consultancies, or digital products that you have made. Here it is very important that you work hard on the product, that you listen to your students and that you improve with the feedback you have heard. Same with your service. And 3. Business creation. This is the hardest part, and if you want to do it, I recommend partnering with someone with experience. It would be directly creating a business below your personal brand. Someone very famous who has done this is Mr. Beast, who has created Feebles, a chocolate company that hangs on his personal brand. That's it for this video about personal brands. See you in the next one.